A lavish banquet has deadly consequences as an already sticky situation turns into a hill that may prove to be impossible to climb. Leading up to this episode, I was wondering if this was the kind of banquet where the players have to eat very interesting parts of animals or concoctions of things you wouldn't necessarily combine together. I've seen it done in some of the international versions, so I thought maybe there might be something extra on top of the murder in plain sight the traitors were trying to pull off. I was wrong about there possibly being questionable food, as the table looked innocent enough. There seemed to be the odd red herring that would help ramp their paranoia up when it came to Alan revealing someone was cursed. Before then, Lisa was trying to work the room, looking at which faithful she was trying to target. She might have been a tad bit over the top, but I guess that's her. Kristen, Natalie and Jam Jam were in arm's length as Lisa used the ploy of trying to put the amulet back on to get someone to touch it. Lisa completed the mission, but there was hope for the cursed one as the guards brought out a couple of antidotes. The players had to decide which two players would drink them, and that caused a lot of debate and the paranoia was rampant. Natalie was very confident that she needed to drink it. Johnny gave Kristen one of the antidotes and she drank it, while Natalie and Tara were going after the other one, but in the end it was Natalie who ended up drinking it. Jam Jam quietly brought up to Mark that he was kissed by Lisa, so I'm surprised he didn't put his name up, especially given how he always wants a shield, to the point he was crying after being unprotected from murder a couple of episodes ago. It turns out the one time he should have put up a fight for the shield is when he needed it the most, as he was the cursed faithful. The downside to all this was that Jam Jam had the opportunity to say a bunch of things as he was dragged out. The main thing he wanted to say was that it was Lisa because she kissed him. It would have been terrible for anybody else's game if he had said one of the faithful's name instead. I wasn't sure how Lisa was going to get herself out of this hole, and I didn't think she was going to be able to. The three traitors were the first to breakfast, and I thought they might have been talking a bit too loud. We got the conversation we should have got in the turret, and it was messy. It was too much of a coincidence that there was a seat left empty between Candice and Rob. It sort of mirrored the split that was now grown with Candice and Lisa versus Rob. While Lisa wanted Rob to do something to help her get out of the situation, it looked like Rob wasn't going to make any effort in defending Lisa. Natalie put a dent in her game by going so hard for the antidote, and this had some players looking at her as a traitor. Then Natalie did the fatal thing of saying "we killed, we murdered," like she was a traitor. Why do these faithfuls keep doing this? With Lisa and Tara in the library with Natalie when she said it, were we about to have a repeat situation with Portia being banished based on what she had said in Ron's company? The players needed to run up the hill to the Firish monument and collect as much gold as they can carry on the way to the monument. They had 30 minutes to get to the monument, and up to $25,000 could be added to the prize pot. The 6 players who collected the most gold would have the opportunity to win the dagger. This would give the winner 2 votes that can be used once at any of the next 4 round tables. They were all given a bag which contained $500 for them to start with. At the monument, some players were putting the gold in their own box while others were stacking it in another player's box who had a better chance than them of getting into the top 6. In the end, $17,800 was added to the prize pot, and Colton, Eric, Mark, Natalie, Rob and Stephen were the top 6. Rob ended up with the most gold, and it gave him an advantage when playing for the dagger. There were 5 stone tablets with an X on 4 of them and a dagger on the other. Rob would question all 5 of the other players and then pick which one to steal the tablet from. A couple of them looked nervous when answering Rob, and he correctly took the dagger from Natalie. The Dagger 6, as they are now called, later formed a pact to not say who won the dagger. What was clear was that this was going to be a battle between Lisa and Natalie for who would be banished. I thought it would take quite some turnaround for Lisa to survive this. Before the round table, we knew Rob was actively trying to go for Lisa, while Candice was trying to protect her by going for Natalie. Whoever was banished, we would see a very fractured team of traitors. Lisa started by mentioning Natalie's slip-up, which Tara confirmed to hearing. Johnny weighed in about Natalie going in for the antidote, though they were were in the same position of thinking how they could have been cursed. I find it funny how Colton says he's gonna take a back seat at the round table, but then he can't resist throwing himself into it. Colton brought up what Jam Jam said before he was murdered. Candice really needs to be careful in how she's trying to defend Lisa. Dorinda isn't doing it, so it looks a bit suspicious how she keeps trying to redirect the conversation or play things down. If Candice wants to survive in the game, she has to do better and be more subtle about it. Though in Candice's defense, she did defend Portia when she was in the firing line. Though I didn't say it in any of my videos, I did wonder if some of the players were gonna underestimate Rob. It makes me think that the Faithfuls won't see him as a traitor unless an outgoing traitor tries to leave a clue as they're being banished. The more I think about it, I wouldn't be surprised if Rob ends up winning. Instead of voting for Natalie and not wanting to vote for Lisa, Candice chose to cast a throwaway vote and vote for Rob. I have a feeling that and deflecting for Lisa is gonna come back to bite Candice. Rob didn't use the dagger, so he has 3 more opportunities to use it. I think something to keep an eye on is Dorinda and Maura. Dorinda didn't vote for Lisa or Natalie, but cast her vote for Maura. In what wasn't a close vote, Lisa was banished with 9 votes compared to 2 for Natalie. A petty or strategic traitor would say, "I didn't murder Jam Jam with a kiss," so ask yourself which of you kept pushing that narrative. That would have helped Candice and put eyes on Colton and Rob, but we didn't get anything out of Lisa. While the choice of Lisa as a traitor wasn't as big of a disappointment as Donna, it was still a disappointment. I see the way both Candice and Rob are playing it, and they're doing well, excelling at the social aspect and giving opinions outside and in the round table, though I think Rob is currently doing a little better at the strategic part of it. Does Lisa being a traitor help Natalie? I'm not sure yet. Being the last gamer is not in her favour, so I think some will keep having some doubt, though I'm not sure if there's enough to vote her out in the next roundtable. One thing I've noticed in the edit is that Colton doesn't always take the same person aside when we first hear his theory about someone. He spoke to Johnny alone and started his campaign on Stephen. Then he spoke to Maura and Rob about how Candice was deflecting the conversation off Lisa. I mean, anyone can say the same about Colton deflecting off Natalie. Rob then questioned the possibility of a turret full of housewives. Johnny was talking to Candice about Colton and Rob being close and that they can't trust Rob either. This was going to be some battle which Rob started. He shouldn't be surprised if Candice isn't willing to work with him. Rob prioritised his standing amongst the Faithfuls over any pact with the Traitors. This will help Rob more than if he tried to do what Candice was doing by trying to save Lisa. Maybe if Rob had chosen to jump on the bandwagon instead of lead the charge against Lisa, Candice might have understood. Even a conversation beforehand might have cushioned the blow, but pulling that twice wouldn't give anyone the confidence that it won't happen to them too. Once Colton first brought Lisa's name up in episode 5, it was a matter of when and not if. Episode 6 made things worse while this episode sealed it. They wouldn't have let Jam Jam's words go, so even if Natalie had been banished, the Faithfuls would circle back to Lisa. I just want to say I normally try to avoid media appearances or quotes that are trying to build up a particular episode or season, but from the brief snippet I saw, I think this episode was a bit overhyped. Maybe my expectations were too high after seeing it would be the best moment in Traitors history. Did Alan see a different edit to what I saw? It was an entertaining episode, but not to the degree touted. I don't know if he was just talking about the banquet or the episode as a whole. I would say it was one of the best moments of the season, but not in the whole of the US version. Do you think this episode lived up to the hype? Let me know in the comments, and I'll see you in the next video.